Alrighty crew, how are we? Welcome. Special Friday edition. So we are obviously streaming live on Fridays moving into this year, so that's a big thing, I suppose. Hope you guys appreciate it. And guys, without further ado, how about we get the show on the road? Let's get things started. Alright guys, as always, good morning, good afternoon, a very good evening, no matter where you are around this big world. I hope you're all doing well, guys. Hope you all had a good week. Again, this week for me, I had no real intention to actually trade live. So I'm enjoying watching the markets move. Seen some nice moves, a lot of volatility. But for me, I've just sat tight. I've just turned the music down a bit too, guys. And more than happy to do so and come back next week, which is when I'm definitely going to be very active and looking for my usual setups to present. I still will look today, obviously. We'll plan ahead if I see fit. We could have some gold options moving forward shortly, so that's something we could potentially be having a look at. Meantime, guys, we could smash the like button and let's get underway with the analysis. So looking at the gold, and what we can see is we are forming a very strong weekly candle. We are hovering above the most recent resistance at this level on the weekly time frame. So based off the weekly, once again, we'll be looking to see where we may potentially pull back to, form a support to head back up. Otherwise, continuation buys is another option. Onto the daily time frame. What we can see is we're about to break that previous daily candles high. We may have just even broken it. So again, counter probabilities to the upside. We still, the previous daily candle, leaving quite a long wick in both directions. Still, I'd consider a fairly strong bullish candle. And if we do again begin to break our own high, begin to break our previous daily candles high, we're doing some pretty clean traffic to the left on the daily time frame. So there's a high probability that we could continue to the upside. Let's also mark in the current day's candles low, and let's see what we've got below that level. There could be options below it for themselves. On to the 4-hour time frame. Obviously trending bullish. We have created at the moment a higher low. We are approaching the resistance at the current weekly candles high. We'll mark in some resistance on the 30-minute and 15, but counter probabilities once again to the upside. Once again, we're creating some higher lows. To me, with the volume about to potentially coming in with moving forward into EU and London Open, I think there's a good chance if we do begin to break our own high yet again that we could continue to the upside. So as we can see below that daily low, got some pretty clean traffic to the left. So that could be an option for a sell. I just drag this up a little bit higher. Actually, let's look at a 15 quickly, and we'll keep it where it is. And that is probably going to be one of the preferable levels for a sell anyway. But anyway, let's have a look at it on the 30 and 15. So the 30 is obviously trending bullish as well. We'll remain bullish at this rate until we actually close below this swing point here at 2660. So we're well off that. So as far as potential levels that we could pull back to, I mean, we've got a level just here. We could draw in a zone just above the 4-hour zone, and that could be a potential level price does pull back to form a potential support at, head up and continue and retest the high. What I'm also going to do is mark in the most recent M15 resistance. We have now made a relatively clean move. It's not as clean sorry, once we go down to more so the 5-minute. This did have a little bit of rejection. It looks like an easy move, but it wasn't. It did pull back into some drawdown, if anyone was in any trades. So I'm going to mark in the most recent support. Reason being is because if we were to continue bullish, don't necessarily have to, well, there is not much of a need for us to pull back and break the support. If we do so, we can see we've got a pretty clean move up down towards that 2672. So that therefore we've got a pretty clean move up, so we could have a move replicated on the way back down. So I'd be looking for, at this rate, a closure below, retest, and that could be the option to sell it. So be looking for the sells from that point there. If we do respect the current weekly candles high and reject just now, that is what I could be looking at. Obviously buys, if we do pull back only to respect that level, there's going to be options to look for our buys above. So buys above that 2674.70 roughly, and further buy options upon the pullback. a little bit deeper pullback around 26.72 sort of region. So aside from that, obviously we are approaching the weekly high. Got a mark in a zone just here, and what I want to see is the closure, preferably above it. I'm still not going to discount potential buy options if we don't close above, but the preference would be for price to close above this 26. Let me just mark it in 26.78, pretty much right on. And if we do so, so long as we have a bit of a low wick forming on the next candle on the new hourly, new M30/M15 at EU Open, we could have some options to buy it above the current weekly candles high. We have some squeaky clean traffic to the left. Sometimes it's a little bit too good to be true. When you have such clean traffic, doesn't always mean it's going to make a clean move once it moves into that level, but there's a higher probability that it will do so. So that's pretty much what I've been looking at on gold. So if we close where we're at for the moment, that is to me a very strong catalyst. Once again, if I do take any trade, it will be very low risk for the first week back. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. We will quickly look at GJ as well. If you guys could smash the like button on both TikTok and I was about to say YouTube. All right, let's just quickly look at GJ. I don't think we have anything just now, so we'll probably be avoiding it. The weekly is forming bearish once again after that rejection from a few days back. After the first few days of the weekly candle was forming quite strong bullish, only to reject. We have now broken low of that previous weekly candle. We are bouncing close to a support. We actually respected the zone here to the left hand side on the daily time frame, but once again, counters still creating lower highs, lower lows, closing bearish. Not a great deal of volume within the current daily candle. What we're going to do is mark in the high of the current daily candle. Let's see what we've got at that level. Onto the 4 hour, and we have confirmation now that the structure is technically bearish. And it looks like we are potentially creating that, well, pretty much confirmed now, that lower high on the pullback. So next likely destination, probable destination I should say, is around that 193.990, that sort of level, 193.90 to 660. So bearish. We are approaching a support. Quite difficult on GJ because we don't really have any clean levels at the moment. So for me, I would consider the M30 is actually, oh no, it's still bearish. Have not closed below its lowest point of the impulse. It's a tricky one. You might consider it bullish. I would consider the buys above current daily candle size. So we are projected yet again. We form resistance at it. If we were to continue bearish, there is not much of a need for us to break above, close above. If we do so, that could be enough to suggest we're bouncing off this 4 hour support, and we could potentially be looking at some buy options. So just adjust this zone quickly on GJ. Now further buys, sells are going to be difficult because we're running straight into support after support. Give it a little bit more margin, so I'd want it to come down towards 194.20, and we do have our price action catalyst. At that point there could be another option to look for a potential buy from that point. Do we have the margin below this low? Potentially. So we could have sell options as well below 194.10 roughly. It is a support formed on the way up, so if we did pop back down only to reject it, we could have options to sell from that point. And once again, sells from back below the resistance at 194.650 roughly, also on GJ. So once again, my preference is gold. That is what I'm keeping an eye on. Guys, what I suggest is, if you're following along, let me see the 5 minute quickly. Not yet got that retest. So we've not yet closed above, we're about to do so. So I definitely want to see the new candle break the lower wick tapping into this zone. And if we do so, I'll be happy to look for a potential buy above what is the current candle and daily candle high. So have a look at what that is on your broker. For me, the high is 48, 26.78.48 on IC markets. So I'll be looking at about 68 as a potential entry point, but we need a lower wick. That's what I'm currently looking at. Hopefully it makes sense. We're on TikTok. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate it. So let's see. We need a lower wick and we want to tap in. As soon as it taps in, I'm sending a order to buy. looks like we've tapped in. Okay. So I'm now looking for a potential buy on gold at about 60, 68 roughly. Let me confirm. Yep, about 68. Stop loss will be below the 15, just below that resistance. And the target, it just depends on you guys again. I have my ways of managing trades in profit and drawdown, but that is what I'm currently looking at. Quickly, guys, YouTube, Franco, welcome to you, mate. Tony, appreciate you as well, the first one in the chat. Left, good morning as always. Beats, Cammy, happy new year to you too, mate. Paul, the only one who could be bothered to press like. Wow. How many likes are there? I'm not sure. Never mind. TikTok, thank you everyone for following. Thank you to everyone who is currently on the stream. Sis shop, very difficult one to pronounce. GJ Cell. Yeah, a bit late to GJ Cells, to be honest. I think it's too close to support. I'd rather be looking for the buys from the current level if it does provide a potential option. I'm just going to neaten this chart up a bit, remove some of these zones further away. So we've broken the weekly high. We have now pulled back to retest this zone. Was there a limit order? I don't think it was a strong enough closure to warrant a limit order. No, it's only 4 and a bit pips up above. So for that to be valid, I need about an 8 pip closure above, and that would be valid. Yeah. So that's what I'm currently looking at, guys. Not in just yet. To be honest, like I'm on the stream again today, I've had absolutely no sleep whatsoever. I'm totally buggered. So bit under the weather actually. I've got a bit of a fever, but I'm here nonetheless. Rage, it's a rug pull. What coin's that? L-Cot? I've never heard of it. The dude with the is that a camera icon? Thank you for follow. Gold, yeah, looking for the buys at the moment. NFP, yeah, NFP is today. That's again, that's something we should obviously, apologies, we should be looking at. We have NFP moving forward today. That is obviously later, so you've got until 12:30 my time, yep, after midnight. So 30 minutes into NY open, it's the big one. So we'll see if gold might get triggered in. And a way to manage this, if you wanted to, I've not been triggered in yet, by the way, guys, is to, once it's triggered in, you could automatically start adjusting your stop loss to just below maybe that resistance, because if we do trigger in, there is not much need for us to pull back and break our own high yet again, our own low, sorry. And if we do so, then we could just be rejecting. So again, the reason why I wanted to see price pull back to this zone and retest it is because I want to see it do so and respect it and begin to pull away from it, and then I trust that this potentially is a strong enough confirmation to suggest that we could make a deeper move into this clean range above. Now, if we were to pull back only to end up back in the range below, what that would suggest to me is maybe we just grabbed a little bit more liquidity and we may need to pull back a little bit further before we potentially move up or continue to the downside for the remainder of the day moving forward into NFP. Gold Forex, thank you for follow. So I'm not in yet, guys. I'm still not triggered in. Gabby, no, not just yet. I have not been triggered in. Got very close, but not in. Not my broker. IC markets, is this? So IC markets, so I've got the entry at 68. I've not been triggered in. It's a little bit different on IC markets, so IC markets have not retested it, but I'm going to trust Forex.com. Anyway, let's go back to that. Joe, yes, this is gold. Still not in. I'm very close to it now. I am. Let's see. What platform am I using to chart? This is TradingView. So once again, I do not recommend going a high risk, especially on a Friday and the first week back. BTC, it does look like BTC, doesn't it? Does actually. It's quite similar. Thank you for sharing the live. To be honest, it's a pretty good closure on a 5-minute as well. Not really, in my opinion, needing to pull back, continue to pull back, because we've got another liquidity grab on this 5-minute closing up near our high. That would suggest after bouncing off that, there's a high probability for a broker that we would likely continue bullish. So I'm not really liking the fact that it is continuing to pull back, but anyway. Rona, good day to you, welcome. Yeah, I just hopped on about 15 minutes ago. 15, 20 minutes ago. Maru? Yeah, I'm a scalper, mate. So I have a way of, look, I reckon I'm just going to hold it for a bigger return. It's just, it's a very small risk. I'm going like quarter risk first week back. And if it pops below its blue zone, probably cut half if you want to manage it. But as long as we continue to respect it, there's a good chance we will continue up. Maru, how much leverage? This is, I'm under ASIC regulation, so we've only got 1 to 30, but that's fine. I really don't mind that. I don't think you need much more. Rona, but you only trade. Yeah, I do trade MY on a couple days a week with the members. Thank you for the stickers, guys. I appreciate it. That's only a couple days a week because it is very late for me over here in Oz. BJ also bouncing. BJ and gold inversely correlated at the moment. I do believe 10x is pretty fair. More risk, quicker you're out. That's it. Exactly. If you're over leveraged, quicker your account will be gone. So we need to continue to respect this zone. Really need to. Otherwise, it could just be a liquidity grab, you know, or for us to go back a little bit further. All right, if you want to cut half, I go for it, because we don't really need to keep pulling back this far, to be honest. Yeah, like we could get taken out. Disappointing, but again, this is the unpredictability about this time of year, to be honest, guys. And it often happens when things look a little bit too good to be true. Like in this case, we have some very, very clean traffic to the left. Doesn't always necessarily make the move. So looks like my stop loss is about to be taken out. Not quite. I will not be buying just now, no, because it looks like we could head back down further, to be honest. This is a trade I would be comfortably taking every day of the week. Got strong catalyst on the hourly, we've got strong catalyst on the 30, 15, 4 hour. Maybe that's a thing I missed. It's the new 4 hour open. See, the clocks are, I don't remember it being at this time, the 4 hour open, to be honest. Yeah, anyway, it is what it is. Oh, we're 9. Yeah, it's some strong rejection. I'm out now. Unfortunate. But once again, it's what it is. You should not be going full risk this early into the year. So not a problem. I'll get that back very easily next week. So that is gold. Fortunately, that's first actual live trade for the year. So it's a bit of a disappointing to end to start it with a loss, but here's what it is. It's actually my first loss in ages, because December I didn't take a loss. I traded the first 2 weeks of the month. And it was end up being 9 wins. From memory. This trade is taken. Sorry, guys. Wow, look at that rejection. A stop below the breaker. To be honest, I'm a scalper, so I don't want to have a wide stop loss. Again, I'm not so bothered because at this stage, because of the fact that it was literally I'm just gonna tell you, but it's like less than a quarter of a trade, of a normal trade for me. GJ bouncing bouncing off this support a little bit higher up. Freaky Fridays, hey? Yeah, so it all depends. Your stop loss will depend on what your target is too, and how long you plan on holding the trade. So, I mean, a lot of you probably intraday slash maybe swing traders looking for a wider, target. So therefore, you can probably have your stop loss below 2671, roughly the support just here, and that would be a fair level to want to respect if you were to continue bullish. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, and I'm not bothered, really not bothered. It's just all part of it. Yet I had enough confidences to take it. Is what it is. Sharif, good morning to you, mate. GJ 15 is closed, 30 is still open. Really don't have much of a zone on GJ. Coming, I'm still learning and negative. Reinvested again today for the first time in 3 to 4 months. It's tough. Yeah, it can be a tough game. Wow, look at price just bounce literally about 15 to 20 pips off that 15-minute level. So that's probably a liquidity grab. Breaks zone high again, there is a really good chance it's going to continue, but stage I'm not jumping straight back in. But look at that bounce, literally tapping into it, and within seconds it's pushed 25 pips. So it's the volatility at the moment, very unpredictable. John, g'day to you, welcome. Man, look at that. Oh, it's having fun. Billion, fantastic if you did. I have no idea about any of these meme coins, to be honest. What's with US Tech 100 with NAS? Seems to be running just some normal price action within a range at the moment. Very, very choppy price action on that pair. It's just consolidating on the 4 hour. Daily long wick projections from the downside. Weekly is forming bearish, broke the high of the previous weekly, but he's trending now to downside, or potentially closing bearish. Bounced off support on the M30. Yeah, right now, as far as entry points, sells look good below the support just here, 21,085. The buys are going to be difficult unless you're already in a buy, because you're running into some resistance. above it, you've got very choppy traffic to the left, so it's going to be quite tricky in that regard. Oh, look at that. Having, yeah, GJ flying. I mean, gold looks good to go if it breaks zone high again. But I'd be definitely wanting to wait for at least the 15 to close back above. But seeing a pullback to grab that liquidity once again, there's a good chance if it did break its own high that it could make the move. What you need to consider is your stop loss. It's going to be quite a wide one if you're to use the technical levels, and maybe look at the body of the candle itself. But in my opinion, it's best to wait for the candle to close. And definitely close back above that resistance, preferably above open of that bearish candle. So it just depends on your broker what level, as to what level that is. John, thank you for the follow. At the moment they're moving in the same direction. GJ and gold. Let's quickly look at GU, looking very similar to GJ at the moment. Tapping into some M15 resistance, currently rejecting, lines up with some 30-minute resistance, and very choppy, very choppy. Difficult to find some clean levels. EU respecting level marked in yesterday. Respecting that resistance, also tapped in and did reject. Probably could have been potential options on EU yesterday around this point here, potentially during the NY session. And that would still be in the trade as well. Bouncing. EJ not looking bad for some potential buys. It is counter trend though. Weekly, what you do have is the weekly on your side, so the weekly, albeit it's a weak bullish candle, but it still is bullish. That is absolutely nasty on the 4 hour low. All right, gold rejecting. Tom, thank you for the follow. Abdul Rahman, thank you. Pretty tricky charts at the moment. Gold look good to continue up and is pulling back. Let's quickly look at the 5 minute, see what that's suggesting. It is a shit fight. It is a mess on the 5 minute. Feels like I've been 10 rounds with Mike Tyson or something, and I am very slow making. Amanda, thank you for the follow. Joe, on gold, why is the resistance M30 not being used? Shouldn't it have been 2678.3? Doesn't matter, the entry is above that point either way. So I was looking for the 15 closure above. Either way, still had a strong catalyst. Either way, because you had the candle closing. If you're going to use this whole level, you've closed basically right at the high. You've wicked down to retest the 15-minute level. $30-minute, that's a massive zone. If you were to use that, to me, that's still a very strong catalyst. And if it broke, it was a good chance to continue. Look at this volatility at the moment. Again, I don't recommend trading until at least next week. Personally, I think it's just the volume is just not quite there at the moment. It's going to be there later. I mean, it is moving, but I don't feel there's the same liquidity as what there will be moving forward into the year. Obviously today you got NFP. It's a huge day on for the US dollar, for the majors and gold. So expect a lot of volatility in the lead up to that, or more so around that. JC, thank you for the follow. So once again, if this closed above the body of that bearish candle, to me, it would be a valid entry. So once again, you want to see a bit of a low wick, and then you'd be looking to enter as breaks. Wow, look at that. Oof. Is Trump tweeting? Yeah, forget gold, guys. That's nasty. That is very, very nasty. If anyone can find any news, let me know. I'm not, no way I'm taking that now after seeing that. That's just really put me off. Maybe it's to do with that. Bank of Japan. quickly look at gold over here. See what Fastball is saying. Not saying anything at the moment, so yeah, this is again, it's just the crazy volume that we have around this time of year. So make of what you want of that. But for me, that's just, yeah, I don't want to get involved in that. John, I was hoping for a buy, but with that rejection on the open of this candle, and not just any rejection, that dropped basically instantly almost 30 pips. That's really put me off looking for an entry, because we're a little bit indecisive for whatever reason at this current level. Rick, no, I'm trying a live account. It's not the biggest account, I admit it. It's not huge. I have tried much bigger before, but at the moment it's not a huge account. Will I go fund it? Potentially. I'm actually having talks with a prop firm provider at the moment, but I want to ensure they are really completely legit before I go. Or give them a little plug on the stream. Having strong resistance should sell off top at the moment. Yeah, I mean, again, not too sure as to why it's tapping into this level and rejecting. I mean, the daily looks like you've still got room to the upside. Let's look at the 4 hour. Got this previous support, but still the most recent price action above is very clean. Got a weekly time frame, looks to be quite clean as well, which has got that bullish candle wick. Not so concerned by that. So I feel once again we begin to trend and break our own high. Possibly, if the news to come, we could almost be around that 27.20 at some point later today towards the weekend, or into the new week. But again, when it's like this, it's best just to stay out. That 30-minute closure right there would always, to me, suggest that we're more likely to head up. But for what it's done just now, it's really put me off. So what that candle does by leaving such a long wick and actually tapping into a previous level over here to the left suggests that we've grabbed some liquidity, and if we did close back above and close up near our high, what would normally follow doesn't always have to happen. Market can do anything, but what, from my experience over the 8 years, what would normally follow is the new candle will likely either pop straight up and give you your your TP1 and continue up, or it's gonna pop up, pop back down, right, a little bit of a low wick, and that's the more probable entry. And the other one is it's going to create a small low wick to begin. Usually it's around the open or just below the open of the previous candle. Seeing that previous candle was the one that grabbed liquidity, and then likely once it's created that low wick, it'd be more probable for it to continue bullish. But in this case, the way it's rejecting is very, very off-putting, makes it very difficult. All right, NQ. That Nasdaq minis. I had a look at NAS. The NAS 30 doesn't look too bad. Broke its own high again. Potential buy. I'm kind of liking ourselves though from below 21,085, or if it does reject 21,170. Funny, Chaser, why market's so volatile? It's mad early. Yeah, I mean, it's been like this all week, isn't it? And again, I feel it's because of perhaps the lack of liquidity, so it doesn't take as much to shake things. There isn't as much liquidity in the market. Beats, I hope it will work out. Live trading with a prop firm account is very good. I think that will make your stream more popular. Yeah, likely. But again, I need to be sure that they're not a, because again, my experience previously on that other account was terrible. Having access to 300k and having access to a withdrawal basically, and for it to be taken away for some rule which never ever existed in the rules of the challenge of the once you've got your live account, it's very disappointing. So it's made me really doubt the industry, to be honest. Revenge LV, this move is nothing. I'll hold my gold long 2 months already. Yeah, look, I'm very bullish long term on gold, very bullish. But there's, like I always mention, there's different ways to skin a cat. Some swing trades, they're going to hold trades for months, some are going to hold them for weeks, some are going to hold it for a day or two. Intraday traders obviously for, you know, throughout the day. Then there's scalpers, there's micro scalpers who are looking at very small movements. I'm a scalper. I like to manage my trades in drawdown. I don't like to have a big stop loss, and I've got a small target, but I leave also a runner because that is what works for me. Rip, Top Step is meant to be pretty good. They have good reviews. Top Step, yeah, this is I can't remember the name of it, to be honest. Let me check and I'll ask you guys if you've heard of it. MyFX Capital. That's MyFX Capital. I'm not sure if anyone has heard of it. If you have, let me know. Do I have experience with Top Step or Apex Beats? No. Or FMO. Don't have experience, but I know of people who have, and they're very happy with it. Have also heard a few stories to the negative about FMO as well. So once again, there's always going to be someone who's a bit salty as well. You know, they've probably got a reason for it. I was salty before today's stream, and I had a big reason for it, and I managed to get a full refund from a airline ticket, which supposedly says you can't refund it, but in the disclaimer it did not mention anything about not including baggage, and I was none too impressed when they said it was going to cost like $20 a kilo minimum. So managed to get my money back on that. Sorry guys, talking a bit of rubbish. Good broker for MC5, Tony Fencing and Gates. Sorry, Junior Alpa. I use IC Markets. I think they're a pretty reputable broker. Your funds aren't going to go missing on IC Markets. Service is good. They do respond very quickly. Had a few issues with them not honoring trades when on their end the terminal froze. It was not on my end because I even had screen recordings of my internet. Only everything else was working. I was on a call with the members, but otherwise they are very legitimate. You're never gonna have problems with them. I shouldn't say never, but 99% chance you're safe with IC. Gold is nuts. GJ back at the resistance. Things aren't easy, guys. Thank you for all the follows on TikTok. Beats Top Step has been around since 2012, so they must be doing something right. Well, that's a good point. Heard of him, but I've never looked into it. John, is that caused the threat of inflation in America? Possibly, I don't know. It was something released. Thank you for the follows, guys. Trades. What? Trades. Still are these names. Apologies for mispronouncing them. Bullish. Very bullish on gold, to be honest. But look at that. Not bullish at the moment on it. Ricker from C is meant to be top one, but they have too many rules. Oh, FTMO, I think you mean. Yeah, I think so. Jamie, what about GU? Yeah, G is also just in a pretty awkward area. It's right in the middle of this range at the moment. I'd be adjusting this zone, but that's where I'd be marking to begin with. Again, to the downside, I'd definitely be adjusting it though. It's way too wide of a zone. Probably do that. To the upside, we've tapped into resistance, currently rejecting. Yeah, so it's smack bang in the middle. What I'd be looking for is, if we do reject, I'd want to see the 30-minute close back bearish on GU, and within it, if this candle, for instance, closes back bullish on the 15, what I want to see is the following M15 close bearish golfing, like so, closing M30 back bearish, and that would be a catalyst for me to look for a sell if I was trading GU. There is enough margin, but I look to it down to this support. You are rejecting a resistance here to the left, which lines up with further support here to the left as well. So to me, that looks a decent option. And in this candle, if this candle closes bearish, I want it to close strong bearish, to be honest, and then followed by a little bit of a weak pause on the next M15. And what we'll do is still close the 30-minute bearish. So that was to look something like, oops, that should be red. We'll close, for instance, like so. What's going to do is close the M30 looking a little bit like that, and then could be invalid entry as it breaks the low of that candle itself. Beats gold goes to the midnight open. Right now, is it? Depends what midnight is for where you are. King Charisma, what are your usual returns a day? Just depends, mate, because I don't trade all that often, to be honest. I trade once, twice, maybe on a busy day 3 times. On the odd occasion 4, but very rarely. I focus on what I believe is quality, and that's again through experience over the past 8 years, what I've determined to be the rules and the game plan that suits me and works for me. And if I get that one really good trade for the day, that is usually good enough. Less is more in this game. If you want to be consistent for the long run, what I've always said is I can trade less and still have the same return as someone who's trading. I could trade 20 times for the month and could easily have the return, and if not more, than someone who's trading 50, 60 times a month, putting themselves under more stress. Maybe they enjoy it, I don't know. But for me, less is more. I don't feel there's a need to put your capital under constant stress. We don't always need to be in the market. We want to be in at the right time. Just so happens to be that unfortunately it's not always the right time. You can't always be in the right time, but all you can do is trade your plan, stick to your rules, and at that point there's a good chance it could be on the end of a nice trade. And that's what I do. Jamie, you don't trade it? My bad. Happy day of trading, bro. Is that GU? Yeah. I do look at it though. I do have some members who trade it. This gold's got no upper wick. Breaking this support. It's on the 15. It needs to wait for a 30, in my opinion, at this point. XV millionaire. Gold Enjoy, I think you mean annoy. By 26.72. Yeah, I think that's a good level to look for options to buy it. I do have a limit order option that I look at, and that is all dependent on the 4-hour zone. So if I was to sit on the charts, if I was to be on the charts moving forward later, but not around NFP and not too close to it, I'd be looking for a limit order around 26.69.50 roughly, halfway into that 4-hour zone. Because from my experience, yet again, and I've actually tested it, I've done on the sim back testing software as well, the amount of times price will tap into the middle of a 4-hour zone and initially bounce off it and give you, you know, enough, for me, a scalper, enough to take profit. It's crazy. It usually reacts to that level. Doesn't mean it always bounces and flies back up. Sometimes it continues down, but usually what it will do is bounce off it, give you TP1, and then we'll decide if it wants to continue up or drop. Yeah, gold. This is gold. Beats New York Midnight Open. He often returns to MY. Oh, really? Something you've noticed? It often pulls back to the MY Midnight Open. It's MY Midnight. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean, to be honest. Adele, it definitely is a retest at the moment, dropping even more, so it could retest further. Yeah, it looks good to potentially come back down to 26.72. But seedings are quite tricky at the moment. Sorry, Beats, the New York Midnight Open takes place at 12 AM local time. Yep. Yeah, of course. That's not the new daily open. X3 millionaire, that's next week, brother. So that whole week, next week's full margin. Just kidding, bye. Nah, to be honest, my plan wasn't to even start trading until next week. It's a person with a cat emoji. Bye now. Yeah, it's a bit difficult. There's no real confirmation. Again, if you're happy to trade it off the back of a 15 against what is a very strong previous 15-minute closure, what you could say is it's grabbed liquidity from the downside, closed up near its high. It's a good chance it could continue. But I prefer that to be the case on the 30 at this stage, which is obviously not an option. Yeah, I don't really have any confidences whatsoever to just buy it. I'm not, other than the fire level, I'm not just a guy who will place orders, limit orders at levels on the chart. Appreciate the follows, guys. Thank you. Pretty much gold is just relentless right now. It is, mate. It's been like this all week, hasn't it? And like I mentioned before, it looked almost too good to be true. Did say that right at the beginning. But as with Forex trading, as we know from experience, have no expectations, because all we can do is go off the back of experience data to the left, price previous history in price action and the patterns. And like they say, history doesn't always necessarily repeat, but it often rhymes. And I mean, that's what we go off. It doesn't doesn't always make the move that we are anticipating that will make the move. Sorry. XV Millionaire 2737. Yeah. For me, I think the next potential destination is 2690 and then 2720 roughly. Still very bullish on gold. Do have a feeling though that it may sell off a bit the 20th. It could be the 21st, because I think the 20th is a public holiday in the States, in the US. So maybe when the markets reopen after that the NY or the US holiday. Not be surprised if gold does drop a little bit, but I don't think it'll be sustained. I think it'll be something short-lived. Bruno at London Open, if this 15-minute closes how it is now, the next count breaking high, it'd be great to retest the highs. Yeah, so I just mentioned that the issue is, other than the fact that we're below and we are closing back bullish, what I'd like to normally see in this situation is going up a time frame, seeing this happen on 30, and then within it having a 15-minute engulfing candle, for instance, which obviously we're not going to have. 5-minute don't have anything of that as well. Yeah, I don't think it'd be the worst entry, but again, it's just doesn't actually tick off really any of the confluences that I normally look for. John, yeah, I think I was the funeral. Was it actually a public holiday? I wasn't aware of that, to be honest. Trade Stealer, it will drop to 2672.57. Potentially, who knows? Pure Gox, what platform is this trading with? David, do you wait till London opens before you make a trade? No, not necessarily. I'm happy to take a trade pre-London. Feel there's enough volume there. There's been a heap of volume today. It's been a shit ton of volume. Just been very all over the place. It hasn't moved in any clear direction. Every time it looks like it's going to break up, it just pulls all the way straight back down. But I'm not against trading before London. I think Asian session's even a good time to trade. A lot of people say there's no volume. That is proper shit. There is volume. There's definitely volume. It's just like any other session. Some days it will present, other days it will consolidate. NY is obviously going to be a heap of volume. I personally don't trade it often because of the time. It's after, well, here it's after it's midnight, the actual open. And then you got NYSE at 1:30 AM. To be honest, I don't want to be in a chance at that point. All good, David. All good. beats, check it, it hangs and then goes one way and often returns to midnight open. So what? Is it saying why, or is that exchange? I don't think it is. Exchange, I would have thought is the actual. Yeah, actually, is it? Actually, I think it is. So that's this point here. If that's what you're talking about, pretty much come back down to it. Better change that back before I forget. I've got to look for it again. There we go. Beats the market is looking for liquidity and is often in abundance at midnight open. Okay, it's interesting. Something I'll keep a bit of an eye on. Bruno, fair enough. I guess done for the week. Yeah, looks likely. Yo, Gox, I was reading bad news about TradingView. What's your thoughts? TradingView is fine. I don't execute trades on it. I see markets you actually can do so now, but I like to use an EA toolkit to manage my trades, so you can't do that on TradingView. That's why I don't use it. But to me, it's fine. It lags like a split second behind your broker, your MetaTrader terminal, is what I find as well. But it's a lot easier to chart on than MetaTrader. Wow. Get it. MetaTrader is just a mess for me to chart on. It's impossible. Yeah, nice one. So who's looking at trades right now? Who's looking at gold? Lucas, no, this is not my cup of tea. This type of entry. Paul, all good? You are? That's fair enough. Your potential entry, obviously, you'll probably know, is above current candle, unless you're waiting for it to create a lower wick and then entering as it flips. It is session open, so expect a little bit more volatility at the open. DJ is rejecting that resistance. If GJ closed a little bit weaker, it could almost be a decent sell as it breaks its own low. It's tapped into some liquidity here to the left, but it's closing a little bit too strong by the looks of it. Ball been bumpy, it most definitely has. Definitely has. It's got a lower wick, so looks good if it begins to flip and break its own high. So that's your next option. Thoughts on natural gas? To be honest, I have no thoughts on it. Isn't it like $3 or something? Something really low. Yeah, I try to keep it Forex related. Have a look at some cryptos occasionally. So there's gold. You likely would have been slipped way that just popped straight up. And this is the market volatility at its best at the moment. Popping up, down, very difficult. This time frame is the 15. You have a sell, Lucas, on GU. Since yesterday, could hit 120 if it breaks that at 115. Yeah, I think GU is going to continue down. Fundamentally, and you're looking at on technically as well, the higher time frames, to me it looks like it's still got legs to the downside. I think 121 would be a pretty good first target. Then obviously a psychological number, 120. Then 118. And then obviously just looking at psychological numbers and way down. But if the Dixie continues to climb, a lot of the economists in that I listen to and respect are suggesting that there is a good chance it could. It's going to make it very difficult to what was I just looking at? Jeez, lost my train of thought. Yeah, sorry. It's going to make it very difficult for the majors to bounce. So they're likely to sell off, continue to sell off. Honestly, guys, lack of sleep is not good. Beats, it's uptrend, but I expect to go to, open first and then, okay. So it actually hasn't tested it. It got close to it. That's, oh, I was on the 15. That point there. It's interesting. I'll keep it in because even if I hop off and turn the charts back on Monday, be interesting to see what happened at that level. Yesterday also went to midnight open first, and now it has to close, and now it's close to. Yep. Cami sells on GJ. Was a little bit too strong, in my opinion. I mean, you need to be in it already off the back of the 15. Is that 5-minute support? It's broken off 5-minute support, but to me, it's just consolidation on the 5-minute. It looks pretty messy. Lucas, government in UK is shambles. Economy is on its way down. Right. No different here in Oz or most of the major Western societies in the West. Europe is up the shits. America's just the best of a bad bunch. That's how it is right now. I mean, we've got the biggest piss week of a prime minister here in Australia. No respect at all for the guy. No respect. Wouldn't even, and this is pretty bad, but wouldn't even piss on him if he was on fire, and that is the honest truth. Country needs a proper leader, not someone like that. End of the day, politicians are in it for themselves, and that's about it, to be honest. It's my opinion. Bloody tough at the moment, guys. I'm sorry. They're very, very tough. Gold has died down a bit in the first 5 minutes of session open. What looks okay? I mean, GJ looks okay. Not a big fan on GU. Yeah, things are tricky at the moment. Can't see nothing. How about Bitcoin? Not even that. That looks probably the best. But I just don't trust the volume on it at this point of the day, to be honest. USL potentially forming a bit of a liquidity grab, broken low the previous candle. It breaks the high, there's a good chance of turning up to 74, 76. Silver, bit of a nasty area consolidation. All a red-headed female. You talking about the Australian Prime Minister? No, that was a few years ago. That was quite some time ago. Ah. You know what? Might rub some people the wrong way, but I actually like her. Not everything. She can be very abrupt, but a lot of what she says makes perfect sense. Honesty. But yeah, it's never gonna happen. Exactly. It's all for Australia. It's never ever gonna happen because of the do-gooders and all that. That mob. It's party preferred bullshit, yeah. It is absolute crap, isn't it? Because they're both an absolute shambles, to be honest. John, silver, yeah, I love silver. I absolutely love it. I invest in it. Physical silver. So I don't trade. I've traded it once and I had a pretty nice win on it, but I've not bothered since, to be honest. It's very volatile. It actually moves more than what gold does. It doesn't look it, but it does because it's a smaller asset class. So, you know, a $1 move on silver is bigger percentage move than what, you know, a $20 move on gold might be or whatever. So for me, silver's in a very tricky area to trade it at the moment. Let's do some quick top-down analysis. I mean, based off the weekly, I'd be more interested in looking for the buys. Daily is a bit choppy. This constant rejection, we've had 3-4 wicks to the upside rejecting. So wouldn't be convinced just yet that we're ready to continue up. Obviously, with the news to come later on, NFP, that will make a huge difference as to where silver ends up the week. Probably mark that level in. Just in a very choppy area on the fire. It's a mess, in all honesty. Usually in this situation, what I prefer to see is let it make a clean move, cut through the mess, and either reject resistance, option sell it, or come back down to support and bounce off it for options to buy it. Above, you've got some resistance as well. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's just not in a nice area. Gold. Oh, it's broken a high yet again. Wow. So to me, it's a bit of a liquidity grab, but from the downside, you know, it's pushed back up, but seeing we are rejecting again, would again head back down. This is just an absolute mess on gold. It is very, very tricky. Joe, same in UK. Yeah, I've heard, to be honest. Heard there's going to be a lot of things coming out of the UK very shortly about your Prime Minister. Paul David Bozo, Mr. Potato Head, pretty sad. It summed it up absolutely perfectly. That's how it is here in Oz. John, if it gets back down, is there a good buy there? Yeah, I would prefer to buy it lower down. I think there's options around 26.71 or back in this 4-hour zone, so I'd be keeping an eye on potential limit orders at 26.69.45. Stop loss would have to be safely below the support, so probably about around 5 pips below it, and maybe have a wider target. But the way we continue to reject right now does not give me a confidence. It's just nasty. Very difficult. It is what it is. It's just part of training. You've got to accept it. That's how training is. If it was so predictable, everyone would be making millions from it. Joe, scandal after scandal. That's what I've heard. And some very, very bad ones too. Some cover-ups and things like that. Beats it is. At the moment it is. In my opinion, I agree. John, yeah, I do. I can't send links into TikTok chat. So if you are interested in joining the free Discord, send me a DM. Make sure to follow on YouTube as well, guys, because I have been banned a few times. I just got my account back after, I think after like 3 months or something. They give it back to you. I have no idea to actually do it, but I try to log in and it said my account's been reinstated, so that's fantastic. So if I get banned, if you can't find me, you know where I'm at on YouTube. Joe, they protect by me. It's the exact same in every Western society. It's the exact same here. If it was transparency, they wouldn't be able to get away with it. Exactly. Well, look what happened to Mr. P. Diddy, the dirty, dirty, sly bastard. A lot more to come from that too. A lot of people being thrown under the bridge. How about, what's his name? 50 Cent. He's throwing them all under the bridge. Good on him. Much respect for the guy, honestly. Beats, just serve and watch until it's really clear how he takes everyone. Well, that's it. Right now, there is no clear entry. There really wasn't. Up here, yeah, I think there was a decent entry. Doesn't always work out. Yeah, it's just there is no clear entry. It's very difficult. GJ as well. Rejecting, popping back up. Yeah, not a big fan of it on the 15. Paul, banned from, not from YouTube, from TikTok. John, all good. Thoughts on NFP Corona? Don't really have any. I won't be on for NFP. Won't be trading it. It's come out as predicted. I think a lot will come down to the rhetoric from it. Oh no, it's predicted. Sorry, the forecast is for it to be less. Okay. Unemployment is to be as per previous. That's the forecast. But again, I don't think the markets are necessarily moving according to the news now. I don't think they have. Gold is just doing its own thing for the most part. It will definitely impact it though. But personally, I would not be trading it, even if it wasn't at, 12:30 a.m. my time. Well, I don't blame you, to be honest, man. I wouldn't use it myself unless, it wasn't for trading. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm so buggered. I'm so tired. Not, like I said, not had one minute of sleep last night. Yeah, so looking forward to next week, guys. I think next week is when might see some more sustained moves and not only big moves up, down, all over the place. We'll see anyway. Well, definitely keen to look at, you know, getting involved in more trades from next week. Gonna be a big week, to be honest. We've got leading towards the inauguration of Mr. Trump, so it should be interesting. That's on the 20th. So see how we go for next week. Guys, if you're not done so, hit that like button. TikTok, if you smash the screen on your way out. Do appreciate the support. TikTok, have a look at my profile page. Make sure to follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And guys on YouTube, I do always appreciate your support. Yeah, there was a short video I think upload today, so have a watch of that. Get a chance on both TikTok and YouTube. Be a lot more content to come moving forward. Guys, if you are trading NFP, be very careful. It's just not worth it, in all honesty. You'll feel good, yeah, if you get away with it, but you're gonna start to get into bad habits, and if you get destroyed, you're gonna lose your account more likely. There's a good chance, so be very careful. And that's about it. Have a good weekend, guys. Trade safe, and I'll see you on Monday. Cheers, my friends, and bye for now. Bye, guys.